What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Talkin Football podcast. This is another scouting report video. This time we're doing the tight ends, and there's nothing much else for me to say. Let's hop into the video after I hit the intro. All right, so this is a tight end class. It's not very deep. Unlike my other videos, I only have top 8 here, but I'm going to do the scouting reports, and then we'll get into the top 8 here. But coincidentally, this draft class has one of the best prospects for tight ends that we've seen in recent history. We got Tyler Warren. This dude is a freaking monster. He's 22, going to turn 23. He's 6'6", 255. This dude can do anything. If you don't know who Tyler Warren is, welcome to Earth. This guy is the ultimate gadget. We saw at Penn State, he lined up pretty much everywhere. I think he lined up and I mean literally anywhere. He was a receiver, he was a tight end, he was a running back, quarterback, and a fullback, and I believe he was an offensive lineman even for some snaps. That gadget ability as a 6'6", 255 tight end is remarkable. That is stuff that we have not seen almost ever. This guy can play literally anywhere. He will be a court, and the thing is, it's not even like he throws a great ball. He will, and he consistently too, great accuracy. He did that time and time again. That is something that's going to be so useful for so many teams if they were to take Tyler Warren. Right now, I think I had the Colts taking him in mock draft 1.0. This guy could easily go to the Jets. Could easily he really fit in anywhere. He is the ultimate scheme fit. He can fit in anywhere. Great gadget guy. If you need him to just be a tight end, he'll just be a tight end. If you want to maybe get a little shifty, he will be shifty. He can absolutely do anything. He can be ground and pound like he would be in Indy, most likely. He can be a gadget guy like he would be in San Francisco. He can do anything. And that's what I love about Tyler Warren. Ultimate gadget guy. He's got elite ball skills, and he's an amazing blocker. Like I said, obviously, if you line up an offensive lineman, you got to be a good blocker. He is an amazing blocker. He's got elite ball skills. How many times do we see him make elite catches? How many times do we see him find soft zones and turn his head around, make a catch in the back of the end zone? It happened time and time again with Penn State this past season. He was so important to their success and why they almost beat Notre Dame. He was a monster last year. He was phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. I don't remember if he was a Heisman finalist. If he wasn't, he was robbed. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the prospects and you don't know who Tyler Warren is, and you're saying, "Oh, well, if this guy is this great, why didn't he win it the Heisman?" He was good, but not Hunter or Gentry good. He was great, just not one of those guys. I'm pretty sure he was a finalist with. I think it was Cam Ward, or maybe not. Maybe it was Cam Ward. I don't remember who the other finalists were, but if he wasn't a finalist, he definitely got votes. If he didn't, then I don't know what's going on there. He's amazing, though. Good at everything. The one issue I have with him, nitpicky again, is he is a sloppy route runner, or he can be. It's not consistent, but he can be a sloppy route runner. But I think with how good he is and at everything else, literally everything else, at some point you're like, yeah, it's okay to have a sloppy route. And I'm sure he'll be a guy that goes to tight end university, with that Kelsey and Kittle and I don't remember Greg Olson are running this year. I'm sure he'll go there and he will really refine his abilities there. OTA training camp, I'm sure he'll refine that stuff there. And if he goes to Indy, and if you watched my offseason video on them, definitely check that out. They've had a good offseason to this point, and they can definitely Shane Steichen, he is the ultimate refiner. He is so good at. Indy has been super polished. Anthony Richardson is like the only player on that team who I'm like, he's not really polished, but he's still kind of raw. But everyone else, very polished. And I think Tyler Warren would definitely benefit if he went to Indy there. Other than that, though, there's nothing wrong with him. This is easily a top. I don't know if there's 5 prospects better than him. We have time. We can Hunter, Carter. I might get hate for this. I like Will Johnson a lot. I think Will Johnson is a top 5 prospect. But I don't think he's better than Warren. So let's say Warren, maybe Membao or Campbell, and then that would give Will Johnson. So that'd be 5 or 6. He's definitely a top 5 prospect in this class. That goes without saying there. Next up is Colston Loveland, who I really like, actually. This guy, and there's a lot of different spots where this guy could go. So, Colston Loveland, he is 21 years old. He is 6'5", 245. He is definitely younger. He's one of the younger bright players in this draft class. He is very good. He is smooth, and let's get into his breakdown. So he moves like a wide receiver, and he did that with Michigan. I mean, time and time again, playing against Ohio State, he was just dominating them almost all the time. Those crossers burned them every time without fail. He's got a great rack ability. He's a really good and tough player. He's really frisky, if that makes sense. He is just a really, really good player. Absolutely a first-round talent, in my opinion, is Colston Loveland. He also, very reliable hands. I don't remember seeing him drop many passes, even the hard ones, and he's a good blocker too. And I feel like 6'5", 245 is a very good frame, and being that big and being able to move as well as he does is definitely a positive thing, in my opinion, for Colston Loveland. So this is a guy, I think he would fit very well with the Chargers. The Vikings, definitely. I think even though they already have Hawkinson, Loveland and Hawkinson would be amazing to see. I don't think he'd work well with a team like the Colts, in my opinion. I'm just trying to think who else. The Jets would work well with Colston Loveland. The Raiders, I think, would work well with him. They don't have Bowers, but you know what I mean. The Seahawks, maybe, with Darnold now, they can probably make that work with Loveland. So he is like Warren. He can be anywhere. He can be a true tight end. He can almost be a slot wide receiver if they need him to be. He's very good in all those areas. Problems. Last season, he was hurt, and he has developed an injury history, which is a little annoying, especially for a guy like him. And I could see him fall a little bit to like the 20s. I think that's the farthest he would fall. If he falls into the second round, I'd be very, very, very surprised. And he's slightly undersized for a tight end. He's built a little bit more like a receiver, but it's not, again, it's a slight undersized. And again, it's more nitpicky things, because I'm giving you guys a scouting report. So going to draft now, you're like, oh, okay, Colston Loveland just got taken. This is what he's good at. This is what he's not. Or if your team takes him, you're like, who is this guy? Oh, well, Talkin Football said that Colston Loveland, he's a good tight end, moves like a receiver, but he is slightly undersized, and we'd like him to be a little bit bigger. If he goes to it, like if you're a fan, let's just say, of the Chargers, and Colston Loveland gets drafted to you, no problems there. I think I should probably put an asterisk on the slightly undersized. It's more for the scheme fit. The Chargers, he's sized perfectly. The Vikings, you probably a little bit bigger. Jets, a little bit bigger. Not much, though. I think he's actually, no, scratch that. The Jets, he's built for fine. The Jaguars, he's built for fine. It's certain teams that would need him to bulk up a little bit more. Like the Seahawks need him to bulk up a little bit more, I think. I can't really think of any other one. The Raiders, maybe a little bit. But overall, Loveland he is slightly undersized, though, in my opinion. Next up, we have Mason Taylor, who is from LSU, as you can tell by the yellow and purple. He is 20, going to turn 21 soon, 6'5", 255. So, the familiar with, and that doesn't say familiar, that's, whew. All right. Anyways, he is very familiar with the NFL, and if you're unaware of this, which I was, I'm sure I knew about it. I probably forgot about it. Mason Taylor, he is the son of NFL Hall of Famer Jason Taylor, who played with the Dolphins, and he is the nephew of Zach Thomas, which is very interesting, Zach Thomas being a linebacker. So Mason Taylor, though, he's familiar with the way the NFL works, not so familiar with the NFL offenses, since both Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor were both defensive, with Zach Thomas being a linebacker, if I remember right, and Jason Taylor being an edge rusher. But still, the workouts and that stuff can definitely help. He's got a good build. I'm sure his dad helped him with that. He got good genes for that, obviously. When you're related to two NFL Hall of Famers, keeping up that streak probably isn't too hard. And he's a smooth runner. For a tight end, 6'5", 255, he's still a pretty smooth runner, and LSU definitely helped him with that, since they have more vertical offense. He's played well recently. I'll be honest, I don't really know a lot about Mason Taylor. But the consensus has him as the third best tight end, so I put him as my third best tight end. Khan's not a great blocker. He struggles against press, and he's not reliable in contested situations, which is definitely a big red flag for a tight end, because if you're a tight end, and tight ends are known for being reliable, and making those 3rd and 8 jump ball catches on the sideline, that's something that he struggles in a little bit, and I think that can definitely screw up offenses a little bit. And the same thing there, 3rd and 8. If you're going up against press, he has a hard time getting past that. If you need an extra blocker, he's not great in those areas, which I'm sure he can get help from his dad. But at some point, you need to be a little bit more individual than be everything based on your dad. And the same thing goes for Shadur Sanders too at that point. That's pretty much it for Mason Taylor. If you came for Mason, I'm sorry, I don't really know a lot about him. He's not someone who I'm familiar with, so that's my fault. Next up, we have Elijah Arroyo from Miami. He is 22. He is 6'4", 245. Okay. So look, this is a guy who is very athletic, okay? Or fast, I should say. Maybe not athletic. He had just one drop last season, which is phenomenal. Cam Ward, Arroyo definitely rose his stock up a lot. I remember seeing his highlights quite often. He's fast for a tight end, and he's able to pull away an open field, which is something that's very valuable for tight ends. None of the other tight ends, in my opinion, are able to do that. Arroyo has a very rare tight end ability to be able to break away in the open field, which is something that's very nice. Some cons, though, he's a little bit raw. I mean, he's not very polished, so he definitely needs a team with a history of polishing tight ends. I think if he went to Iowa, he would be a completely different tight end. He'd be a total blocker because of his build. He wouldn't be a receiving tight end, but this is a guy who is definitely he's definitely very raw, and he needs some polish. This is not I mean, I think if he were to go again, I keep using Indy because they're the best team that I can think of that needs a tight end. I think they would just develop him into a more athletic Mo Alley Cox, and that's not what Arroyo needs. He needs someone who will be willing to use him as a deep threat, able to polish him a little bit more. He also has an injury history. It wasn't this past season. He was healthy this past season, but I think 2 years ago in 22 and 23, he was hurt, and he had injury-riddled seasons, which is definitely a concern as always. And he has very poor change of direction and quickness. And again, if you guys remember from the quarterback scouting reports, I said Jalen Miller was quick, but not fast. This guy, he's fast. Arroyo, he's fast, but not quick. So he's able to break away, but he's not able to quickly make a decision and get past. If he's in an open field situation with a guy, let me rephrase that. If he needs to quickly turn off a catch, he's not great at doing that. I think that's part of the polishing process. That's something that he needs to do. But sometimes you change your direction is something you kind of need to know going to the NFL, not something that needs to be learned. So that's kind of why I have him underneath Mason Taylor, because he's a little bit more, I think Mason Taylor is a little bit more polished than Arroyo is. And that's why I think Mason Taylor is a little bit better. Next up, I have Harold Fannin, who is one of the more interesting prospects in this draft class. He's from Bowling Green. You don't usually see Bowling Green every year. They always have one prospect who is like a 3rd-round pick or a 2nd or 3rd-round pick, and this year it's Harold Fannin. He is 20, going to turn 21 soon. He is 6'4", 230, so he's built like a bigger receiver, basically, is what he is. When I knew about him coming into making these graphics and talking about Harold Fannin, but one thing that I was like, he plays for Bowling Green. He plays in the MAC. Oh yeah, MACtion. Yeah, that's the stuff that I want to see. Like, no, you're going up against like Marshall and teams like that, in Miami of Ohio. I don't care if you have 18 for 275 against Miami of Ohio. I don't want to say they're a bunch of bums, but they're not as good compared to teams like Penn State and Texas. Well, guess what? They played Penn State and Texas, and Harold Fannin had good games against both of them. So if you have concerns saying, oh, this guy's a Bowling Green guy, he probably played against nobody. He played against Penn State. He played very well against them. Played against Texas. Played very well against them. That's not a concern. He's hard to bring down. That's meant to say down, not hard to bring down. He's hard to bring down, and he's a crisp route runner. I think that's also his thing. He's a receiver. He is built like a bigger receiver. He's just a tight end. And that's something that can definitely impact the way he's developed a little bit. He's a very good route runner, and I think bring that with his naturally strong receiving game. That's something that can definitely benefit him. He struggles in blocking, though, and I think that's partially due to his size. 6'4", 230. He's a little bit bigger than a receiver. And he's not going to overbear you. And that is something that's definitely concerning because if you're a tight end, you need to be able to be good at blocking, even if you're a receiving tight end. He's light but not fast, meaning that I think he's a little bit too big to be a receiver, but not quite big enough to be a tight end. And he compared to Arroyo, he's not as fast. And I think he's going to have to rely heavily on his route running to get him open, which, again, not a bad thing, but that's something that needs work on a little bit. And he is not great in contested situations, again, compared to a guy like Tyler Warren, who's 2 inches and 25 pounds taller than him, or 2 inches taller and 25 pounds heavier, rather. That's a big differential between a top 5 prospect and a third round grade prospect, or fourth round grade prospect with Fannin. And that's something that's a little concerning there. But I do like Harold Fannin. I think he's definitely a good player. He can definitely turn into a steal if he's developed the right way. I think that's kind of how it is for a lot of these tight ends. But I guess we'll see on draft night. So let's pull up these rankings. These are my top 8. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I said I was going to do top 8 for the tight end rankings because I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about the tight end class. I saw Luke Lackey, I think his name is, from Iowa. I don't know who he is, so I didn't put him on here, so sorry. Tyler Warren, obviously number 1 by a lot. Colston Loveland, number 2. Those are 2 bona fide first round picks. Or Warren should be a top 15. Loveland should be top 25, I would say, at least. Mason Taylor, probably a third round pick. Same thing with Arroyo. He might find himself slip into the second round. Arroyo, maybe. And Harold Fannin, kind of the same thing. Terrence Ferguson, I like a lot, from Oregon. He played very well this past season with Oregon. I mean, Oregon was amazing last season until the college football playoff happened. But it kind of goes to show, the different. And I would say Fannin's a third round pick. Ferguson's a fourth. Gunnar Helm from Texas, he's a 5th round pick. Mitchell Evans, he's a 5th round pick. Evans from Notre Dame. My problem is with this draft class, I feel like there's nothing unique about it. It's a bunch of copy and paste. I mean, we can look at it. Gunnar Helm and Mitchell Evans, okay, they're good at blocking. They're okay route runners. They have pretty good hands. They're not going to blow you away in contested catching situations. Terrence Ferguson does the same thing. Harold Fannin pretty much does the same thing. And I feel like it's a lot of copy and paste down the line. So you might see some of these guys taken later, but I do think that there's some upside. Again, I like Mitchell Evans. Notre Dame is known for polished players, and he could definitely find a way to sneak into the 4th round. A lot of these guys can find ways to sneak into the 3rd or 4th round, but I think at this point in time, probably 4th or 5th round, or 5th round for Evans and Helm at this point. Ferguson probably a 4th rounder at this point. So that's that for the tight end report. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what I can improve on. Again, I'm still kind of new to this. This is Talkin Football, and that's what I'm going to say about that.